Welcome to Seeing Scarlet and Shelby. Here with Tyler. We got another Lady Raider commit, and we're excited about this one. A fun experience, playmaking guard, and Sidney Love, a 5'8" rising senior from UTSA. A lot of experience in this player. She averaged 10.3 points per game, 3.6 rebounds per game, 3.6 assists, and 31.9 minutes played. Also about 1.2 steals and like zero point 0.4 blocks a game as well, which we'll talk about more in a minute. It's an interesting theme happening with all these pickups lately that we like. And she did that for a winning team, for a program that they've been trying to turn around a little bit. She's stayed home. She's from Cibolo, is that how you say that? Texas, down there around San Antonio area where UTSA is. They helped turn around that program. They only lost one game in conference this year, won the conference, fortunately lost in the conference tournament, so didn't make the postseason or in March Madness, which is a bummer, but they had a great season, one of the best in school history. And she was a part of that, and she stayed home and she was able to do that. Now she's flying out of the coop, coming over to Texas Tech, and she's going to help us get back to the tournament. That's what's going to happen, Tyler. Isn't it? Isn't it?
Yeah.
All right, before Tyler gets to his fun notes, follow, subscribe, all the things. Appreciate it. Tyler, let him know what you found about her. Tyler's been excited about Sidney. She was on his list long ago.
Yes.
She's been around.
Yeah, she's been on my list for a long time. Also, I loved your analogy, fly the coop, because they're the road runners. So
you like that?
Yeah, really creative. Yep, off the dome. But yes, I whenever she first entered the portal, again, kind of like UTSA, kind of like my second team that I've kind of been following all season, and I think that Sidney Love's story is just so incredible. Just looking at where she came from, right? She was looking for a place to go play college at, and Karen Aston, after UT let her go to go get Vic Schaefer, UTSA hired her, and they're like, hey, like our program has basically been nothing. Like, can you please turn it into something? And Karen Aston came in, she's like, all right, need to see what I can turn this into. What am I going to do? And her first strategy is go to the locals. And I know that we love to do that here in Lubbock. So she did that in San Antonio, took a chance on Sidney Love from Cibolo, Texas, and has since evolved into a great pickup. And Sidney Love has kind of been the legacy and like the core of this team. And she has done absolutely great things under Coach Karen Aston, led her team to the American Conference Championship this year, just doing some incredible stuff as a guard. So I'm very excited for this pickup, and I hope she loves Texas Tech.
Oh, get it in there. There's going to be a lot. We have a lot of good puns on this team,
We do.
You got gems, you got love, you got a lot of them. You got a lot of them, a lot to work with here on this team. So yeah, she is something we'll talk about a little bit more and how she fits in the team and a theme that we've been noticing. We'll do that after we show clips. But one of those things to note, if she finishes this really high rate at the rim. She loves to go in transition, scores a lot of points in transition, and she scores at 62% at the rim. That is almost 5% above the D1 average, which is an area we've talked about with many of these transfer pickups when we've talked about that, with Gemma scoring at a high rate there, with Jada Malone scoring at a high rate there. We did not shoot well at the rim last year, so add that to the group. She also gets to the lane, or she scores in the lane about 4% higher than the average. So those are high efficiency shots. Again, a player that doesn't shoot, or at least this past year didn't shoot great from three. I think it was about 27%, 20 something like that percent from three, maybe a little lower. But she did shoot 35% on 3 attempts a game her freshman season. It's in there somewhere, Tyler. I don't know what happened. Someone study it. Someone figure out where she was getting shots on the floor that she felt more comfortable. So it's in there, and she at least gets them up, not afraid to take the shot. That's important. And 2, this past year she played alongside one of the best pure point guards in the country that averaged over 5 points a game or 5 assists a game. But she is also a little bit of a point guard herself, because she averages almost 4 assists a game herself. So she can play off ball and be a playmaker, which is good for the guards that we have alongside Gemma. Then she can also spot Gemma. If Gemma needs a rest, Gemma gets a foul trouble, whatever it is, matchups. Sidney can play point guard for this team as well. So she's versatile. And now you all of a sudden have 4 guards, your 4 main 1 and 2 guards, that have all had point guard experience in the college level. Danae Fritz the most limited, because it was last year, her first time getting that role. But still, they've all 4 done it at different degrees, which could be important in key moments, taking care of the ball, making passes, all the things. So Just something to note on that. I know she had some notable performances. She, in my opinion, when you watch her play, seems to play up to her competition, which is great if she's now a power conference player, because every power conference game she's ever been in over the last 2 years, she's done well in. Let them know, Tyler.
Yeah, so she's had, like you said, when I was going through, some of her best performances were actually against these Power Five teams, Power Five competition, and that's something that you want to see, right? You want to be able to compete, and I have no doubt she can compete. One of those games was against us last season, or I guess 2 seasons ago, if you're going to count this past season, against us.
Nervy
She
game.
basically the USA is like her second home already. So what a great fit. She had 18 points. She shot 50% from the field, had 3 rebounds and 2 steals against us. Oh, I think we'll have some highlights from that game in there with her cooking
Now
up
we can be
against
happy
us.
about them. Sorry, Bailey Motley.
Yes.
There's a highlight of her stealing one from Bailey, but it's fine. They're teammates now. They can get over it. It's cool.
Right, right. And then she also did well against Houston 2 years ago, 13 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals. And then against Oregon, 9.6 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 steals. I'm really liking her steals and her assists and her rebounds and her points. She's just filling up that box score similar to what Gemma does. Also,
Yeah.
I really like her rebounding. Reminds me a lot of, Danae Fritz, getting in there, getting that rebound, averaging those high amounts of rebounds against these really good teams is what you're going to want to see. And then this past year, she had 10 points and 5 rebounds and 2 steals against Texas A&M. They almost upset them. Also, in another almost upset effort, almost beat Stanford, which this was early in the year when Stanford almost beat LSU and was kind of like hanging around, maybe creeping into the top 25 before we saw. But they're still a really good ACC team at the time. She had 14 points and 4 rebounds against them, and then in the WBIT, who knocked them out was Gonzaga, a great Gonzaga team we actually played this year. She had 15 points and 3 rebounds against them. So she is just filling up that box score. She has a lot of really, really good stats, and that's what I really like to see is she can compete at that high level, and she can fill in every aspect, score at a high level, rebound. These are the things you want to see in a guard.
Yeah. And again, we'll talk tease. We'll talk about that after we show these clips that I'm about to show. That's a theme with all 4 of our new 1-2 guards. Now, Danae in particular can play the 3, can play the 4 as well, and they'll all find a way. There could be times where all 4 of them are on the court at the same time. I'm not even kidding. I could see a lineup where you get all 4 of these out there at the same time as well. But they're all that way. They're all gritty. They all do all the things. So it's interesting. I'm sensing a theme, and I would love to hear from the coaching staff on it someday if they talk about this transfer class, because I feel like I'm sensing what they're doing. So let's get into some clips. That's what you all came here for. Then we got some quotes on her after that, and we'll get into our theories on what we're looking at with these guards, because I feel like they maybe have at least 4 of their main guards done. Still, let's see. These clips, y'all.
Sit down.
Oh, too loud. So loud. You gotta stick around to the end. Why would you leave anyway? I would be offended at this point if you left, because what are you doing? But at the end of this clip package are like my favorite clips. Big moments, clutch moments at the end of game winning, well, try to win game moments, upsets, and game winning moments. So we're gonna save those for the end. But now it's just like a compilation of passing, driving, full court. She does that a lot, so on and so forth.
Lucio triple. Good! She went right
This is her
into the paint, kicks it
vision.
Out. Lucio triple. Good!
Love that.
In that game, by the way, I have this pulled up right here, so I'll go ahead and tell y'all. That game that highlight is from, their main point guard didn't play for some reason, so she did play point guard last year in this game, and she went for 21 points, 5 rebounds, 11 assists, and 5 steals.
Hey, cook,
yeah.
Sidney, cook.
Yeah, in that game, you just saw that highlight from. So that's a pretty stupid line. 21, 10, and 5 and 5.
She went right into the trees of Idara Udo.
This is her getting into the lane. She's really good. She's not the biggest player in the world, but she's under control. She takes the bump, and she gets a lot of and ones. I mean, people are going to talk about her size. She's been that height for years. Doesn't bother her. She played that way all the time. Hasn't bothered her. Under control in the lane. Look at this. Jump stops, fundamental, finisher. Again, over 60% in that range. I love this player right here. Look at this. Through 3 people, just weaving her way through there. Another jump stop. I love a good jump stop. Partial to a good jump stop. The girl does them. Oh, spin move.
Look at that.
Oh, Remember the Jada Malone episode where I was like, man, if Jada gets stuck on guards, it could be tough, right? That was before I knew that Sidney was even coming on a visit. I was watching Jada Malone tape, and I found this clip, and I was like, she got cooked by this guard from UTSA. Well, now they're going to go against practice against each other because this is Sidney Malone going against, at the time, Texas A&M big Jada Malone, just easily just sneaking right past her. She's good at that. She uses her size to her advantage in some ways.
Look at that. Now they're teammates, guys. Don't worry.
They're teammates. No big deal. And then, the hesitation, hop, skip, jump step off the dribble. I mean, she just broken ankle. Oh, Lord in heaven. I mean, if that happens, we're just gonna have to watch it again because I clicked back by accident. Anyway, we're back in it. Gonna get to watch this again, but I'm telling you right now, if she breaks someone's ankles like that in a game this year, which will happen, the TikToks that will be made will be obscene. Here you get to watch her doing her jump stop again.
Inside, throws the rest of the quarter.
Going at
her against her now teammate.
She does these scoop shop layups a lot. Okay, now you get to enjoy the madness again. You hear the gasp in the crowd.
And missed them both.
In transition, this is just a bunch of clips in transition. Very similar to Gemma Nunes. If she gets that ball off a rebound, she's going to go. She doesn't need to look for anybody. She can take it. She'll push it. She'll look for someone. If they're not there, she'll go take it her damn self. Over 60% finishing at the rim. Still jump in the passing lanes. I don't care who you are. I'm going to finish over you, Houston. If she gets the ball, she's going.
Wow.
She is going. Finish over people, through people, and one. Layups, not a problem for her. Oh, look, there's us.
Oh.
Stole it. We're a little bit lackadaisical. Those are old problems, though. Over Bailey Maupin. Got some long arms there. She couldn't get it past her, so... We're getting into my favorite clips, because these are some clutch moments, y'all. We talked about her three-point shooting. Was what it was. But this is this past year against Stanford. She makes back-to-back threes. This one's with 3:50 to go in the game. They're trying to come back on Stanford. Almost do upset Stanford, as you'll see. This is the first one to start the little mini comeback. Hands a three.
Hanging in there.
Corner three, buckets.
Open for three.
She actually shoots a pretty high percentage from the corner. Something to note. We need to get her there more often. She says, let's go. Now notice the score. They're within 5 points. Under 30 seconds to go. Get it to Sidney Love again. Clutch City, no big deal. I got you. Within 2. And then they jump right into her press. And watch her on this press. Very effective. I personally think this Stanford girl walks to get out of the trap that Sidney's involved in, but they don't call it, but she still did a good job here.
And it's a 2-point
Which if we're going to press, I don't know if we still are. She's active, running around, making them.
Already trying to handle it.
That's a travel, but it's fine.
Yeah, that's a travel.
So that was good. And then, I know this is both of our favorite plays that she did. Into the game against Wooten from North Texas, who I think might have hit the portal as well as a guard. One of the better guards in the American Conference. Into the game. Up 2. She's got the defensive assignment. They're going at her, thinking that they can beat her, and she says no. I talked about blocking shots earlier. Watch this block shot to win the game.
Oh!
It's so
Get
good.
out of there.
I got multiple angles for y'all. Multiple angles. We got the on-court angle coming up. Look at that. Oh! High hands. Stone cold. Just the celebration. I mean, hype. She's not the biggest person. Well, she's lifted at 5'8". I don't know if that's true, but she's got long arms. She plays similar to Danae, who fans know the most because we've seen her for a year. How Danae's so good at playing with high hands on drives. She has that about her. Gemma has that about her. I don't care what their heights are. It's interesting to me that they block shots at that level. That's not something that Bailey Maupin or Jazz Shavers or Logan Johnson were doing for us last year. They were like at 0.1 each. Just something to note. Something to note. I like it. So that's what we have on clips. Tyler, I know you have a couple of quotes that you found on her from stories and such.
Yes, I do. So back to the whole, talking about her being a local product. So this is what Coach Karen Aston had to say about her. She said, quote, "I think it was really big to be able to get one of a couple of local products to buy in really early. She was very well respected in the community and has been a part of a winning program that went on a great run her senior year. I think everybody knew that she was committed to helping us be better. It just sort of dominoed as far as the class she came in with." So she really was that foundation for UTSA to be successful, well respected in her community. You love to see that. She loved to be a part of a winning program. We love to see that as well and going on good runs. And then they asked her about, her being the foundation of this UTSA program. And she said, quote, "That's the type of person that I am. I'll stick with the process and hopefully make something shake or turn something around that makes people notice us." All right, Sidney, you got a big job. That's a big task right there. Make people notice us and turn something around. Go do that. She also said, "I feel like the people I came here with are exactly those types of people too." Perfect. We have teammates for you that can do just that. We've stuck together for 3 years now, and that's another thing that makes us so strong. She is so big on wanting to leave a legacy, wanting to leave an impact, wanting to be someone that's known in the community, wants to be a winner. And that's what we need here. She's going to bring that, and she's going to really bring, and I think our culture is already shifting to that now. She's just going to be that piece that brings it all together, glues it all back together. Bailey's coming back for her senior year, all the things. You're going to have Sidney Love here wanting to turn this around, make it a winning culture. I'm super excited. I think she's going to be able to leave her legacy here in the year or two she may have left here.
I love that. You need that. We've talked about that in other episodes or on our live shows. Like, this team's going to be underdogs. You need people that don't give a shit about that. In fact, that they embrace that. And they're like, cool, doubt us. We're going to change our mind. And it feels like that's who Sidney Love is. She has a similar story to Bailey Maupin. She was able to get that done last year for her home school in UTSA. Now she's going off to see if she can show that she can prove it on the power conference level because she earned that right. And now she can help Bailey do that here. Jalen came back to West Texas to do the same thing. Danae Fritz has West Texas ties. We're going to give it to her. We've talked about it before. She has some family in the area. They all want to do it for this school. They stuck around. Could have gone other places. Sydney's joining them. Let's go prove some people wrong. I love that attitude. Listen, that's the only way it's going to work. I'm going to be honest. You got to have people like that, that they embrace it. That kind of is that is the theme of the season. That is their attitude, that chip on their shoulder. Prove people are wrong. So I love it. Speaking of who she's going to fit in with, I kind of have hinted throughout it, talked about it throughout this, something we've been noticing as a theme. This is something we'll talk about a lot more in depth when this roster is finished. But since we're getting closer to the guards, I think there might be some more guards. Maybe going after some more guards. I don't know. But this feels like a good group of 4 guards. And so if you compare them to our main 4 guards last year, which were Maupin, Fritz, Johnson, and Shavers. Now you flip that to Maupin, Fritz, Nunez, and Love as we have it now. Just on at the rim field goal percentage, there's a major difference and a major shift happening. Last year, that 4 was at 54.7%. This group was at 60%. Basically a 6% hike, which is a lot at the rim because you get a lot of shots there, right? That's where a lot of shots come. So you add 6% better percentage. That's a lot of points during a game, and we lost a lot of games by 1 possession, right? We were in these games. If we just made 1 or 2 more shots, we would have won them, right? Same thing in the lane. This new group finishes a lot better at the lane. They shoot worse from 3. That is where it's different. But as something we'll talk about in future episodes about the whole roster, when you mix these 4 in with a 4-player like Jalen who does shoot the 3 versus the 4 players we had last year that didn't really shoot the 3, it evens out, and now you have players that finish better, and you have a 5-player in Jada Malone that finishes at the high rate. And I've already done the projections. I'm not going to go into it, but trust me, the percentages are super high in every phase compared to our starting 5 to end the year last year. It's interesting to me. Don't know if it's on purpose, but I'm going to give the coaching staff credit and say that it has to be, right? That they're going after players that finish at a high rate at the rim. It was a problem. We couldn't make the easy play last year. That is so unbelievably frustrating. And then you couple it with a team that lives on defense. You're getting steals and you're missing the easy buckets. After you get the steals, that can't happen. You work so hard on defense, you got to make them. Now you have players that have proven to do it. And Bailey and Danae were pretty high finishers at the rim themselves, decently at the rim. And you pair them with 2 people that do it as well. So something to note there. Additionally, we talked about already the defensive side of things. 0.4 blocks a game for Love, 0.5 blocks a game for Gemma. And then Danae Fritz, who's already here, is at 0.6 blocks a game. That's a lot of blocks for guards.
That is.
Really, those are big block numbers. Again, Bailey Maupin, Jazz Shavers, and Logan Johnson all average 0.1 block per game. So now you've kind of flipped that. It's a little bit of a different identity. High hands, aggressive, and then they also rebound really well. Some are really good on the defensive end, some are good on the offensive end, some are good both. But they're not afraid to stick their nose in there to get block shots, and they're not afraid to stick their nose in there to get on the floor or get rebounds. It feels like an attitude shift, a style of play shift.
Mm-hmm.
Again, the shooting aspect is not as much there with these players, but maybe that could grow. But the grit and the attitude and the way they go about playing, there's a theme there with these pickups. And you can see it in the stats, too. That's why I did the numbers, because I was like, I want to make sure. So it's interesting to me. I hope that's on purpose. It has to be on purpose, because it extends to the post that they picked up as well. So interesting. I don't know what you have any quick thoughts on that, but that's something we'll definitely talk about more once we have the whole class. But it's taking shape. I see the vision. Will it work?
Right.
I don't know, but I see the vision.
Yeah, no, I definitely see the vision. I'm loving the block party. I'm all for a block party, especially if you get that lineup with Sarah at the 5, maybe in those 20 minutes. Like, good luck trying to get something up.
Just once, coach. Just if you're listening, just once against a random opponent.
Once.
I need, What would that be? Gemma Nunes, Sidney Love, Danae Fritz. Probably Jalen is our best block. Probably right now Jalen's our best shot blocking, or Julie has good shot block numbers. Juka level, we'll find out. And then Sarah.
Right.
Just to see if we can get like 10 block shots in a minute. That's not how basketball works, but it sounds fun in my brain.
Right. Yeah, but no, definitely I'm loving like all of these big increases. I mean, that extra 6% of just finishing at the rim. Like, guys, do y'all remember a few weeks ago when I literally had to basically make lowlights against Baylor, and half of those lowlights were not making layups? Like, guys, like I am so ready to see this shift and this change, and Sidney is really adding to that. Who we already have now is going to add to that. I'm just very excited. It's going to be a lot different, I feel like, for this upcoming season. And Sidney Love is really going to have a crucial role on this team.
For sure. You want a further stat to make your head just explode? If you sort the stats just for high majors, which is power conference teams, is what that means basically, as a team, this is not even just those 4 guards, but as a team, we shot 57.7% at the rim last year. Everybody on the team. That is 3.5% below the high major average. So we're not even above, mildly. Overall, D1 average, we're mild, like 2.2% above the average. But when we're doing against teams that we actually play against, we're 3.5% below. Now, you take the 60.9% that those 4, you go and calculate it out for things we'll talk about later with what the projected starting 5 could be, and we're about 3 to 5% above the high major average at finishing at the rim.
Love that. Yep.
Now the 3-point percentage is lower, just a little bit.
Yes.
But the overall effective field goal percentage is higher because of the amount of shots that you're getting, the efficiency. So, something to watch. Will it work? I don't know. But it's definitely a theme. And you can at least see a vision that they're going for with the pieces that they put together. We're smaller. Our guards are shorter overall. Somehow they block more shots, though. I don't know. Ain't bothering them.
Yep.
So, I don't know. We might be, I don't know. The length might be the same because I think Logan was 5'10", sure, and these are 5'8", 5'7" guards, but their arms are both pretty long and Love and Nunes. Anyway, I could sit here and nerd out about this. I'm interested to see how it's going to play out. I'm ready to fast forward. They still have some more pieces to add, and that could change things as well. There could be another guard or someone that comes into play, 3-type guard, 3-4 guard, or something like that, scoring guard, that can make this even more dynamic. But as it sits now, it's intriguing. Interested. Any closing thoughts before?
Yeah, I just love that this is going to be a excellent roster add with Sidney. I think that all of you fans are going to love her here, and we're just going to have a fun time at the USA. Apparently, we're going to be throwing a block party every week, twice a week maybe. So yeah, y'all go and support this team. Love on them. Very excited for these new roster additions.
Let's go.
we've had.
Last thought, if you're wondering who else was after her, what I have been told, we won out on Sidney Love over the likes of Mississippi State, Baylor, and Cal. Were also pursuing her, amongst others as well, but those were the heaviest contenders. She chose Texas Tech because once you see the Womble, why would you want to leave? That's what I say. So welcome to Texas Tech, Sydney. We're so happy to have you. We love having you here. You're probably sick of us already. Anyway, we can't wait to have all the stupid puns and all the things and get to work in November. It's going to be fun. So that's all I got. Until next time, y'all. Y'all know the drill. Wreck 'em.